Come on, honey, it's time for school.
But Mum, I don't feel well.
Oh, honey, you feel like you have a fever. Let me check your pupils. Oh, I know what fever this is.
Directly under the post, loom for him at dummy half. On to Marcus Marsh. Gives the ball out to Hasselman. Hasselman's got plenty of room to move to Schmoodle. He goes, the line, he's over!
Good footy, boys.
They had the numbers, Aberdeen. They had the score, but Schmoodle in a good dry part of the field showed great strength. And Timmy Bridget, dummy half. Long pass out the back to Jake Watts. Into Topless. Topless has found room to move! He's under the posts! Stone lead! 8-6!
Great job at Thomas again. A little change in direction again. We talked about it early. A little step off the right, then the left, and straight under the pace.
Yep. Just a change of direction and pace.
The defence came up hard, Bomber, and gave Hayden Topless.
Why not? Let's do it.
Oh, well, welcome to another episode of On the Couch, a full couch, a very full couch today, and some great people coming along to join us. Caitlin Albury did a great job, fantastic job commentating with Bomber on the weekend, mate.
Thank you.
And Pete Fitzsimmons, also from the Tigers.
Yep. Welcome, everybody. Yep.
And then we've got the two roughheads.
Excuse me. Come on. Mate, this is the rose between the thorns. It's fine.
Well, it's obviously you don't have any mirrors in your joint.
I don't use them. Have you seen our house, the renovations? There's dust everywhere at the moment. Just quickly before we start the show, I do owe an apology, and I'll just make it very quick. On the weekend I did mince my words a little bit, and I apologise to the Group 21 executive and Jai Bailey in particular. I won't go too far into it, boys. Just in a rush, and instead of saying something that I should have elaborated on, I just should have zipped it. But yeah, there was no malice meant by it, but yeah, it's just been taken a bit the wrong way. But anyway, onwards and upwards, whenever I'm in the wrong, I always admit it, and I just want to apologise to those people. So yeah.
Well done, mate.
Well done. Thanks. There goes the phone.
You really are a professional, aren't you? Phone turned up and everything.
No, it's off
You're
here.
on fire.
It's off here. It's off Benko.
You're just making it
I
hard.
think you've said it before.
You're just making it. Yeah, you're just making it hard to edit.
No, I'm not editing it.
Come on.
Well, there we go. Now, last weekend, boys, some great rounds of football. The minor semi-finals, the Ladies League Tag. Marywood defeated Musselbrook 28-4. The try scorers, Madeline Blackadder, Charlie Carroll, Jessica Morgan, Ellie Blackadder, Gaynor Blackadder, Jessica Morgan, and Reggie Collins for Musselbrook, the lone try scorer. I don't think I missed a Blackadder, did I?
Mate, I think you nailed them all there, by the sound of it,
I?
yeah.
Yep, you got them.
It was the hardest game to call, Benko.
I wasn't there.
I know, but for the Ladies League Tag, it was the first time I've done it, and
Well, you picked an easy game. They were all Blackadders.
It was Blackadder to Morgan, Blackadder, Morgan,
I've got to be honest.
Carroll.
I don't know any of the girls.
Don't you?
No, I know Taylor because she had a go at me for calling Brady Collins or Bradley Collins
Bradley Ellis.
Brady Ellis, yes.
That was bum information.
Brady Ellis.
Property.
Yeah, I called him Brady instead of Bradley. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Taylor. Oh, she didn't have a go at me. She
She just had a
friendly dig.
Just said, guys, just in future, Bradley.
Well done to the Marywood girls. Very good effort.
I think they're going to be hard to stop because we tipped Marundai in the Ladies League Tag in the day after, and of course they got rolled by the Scarred Thoroughbreds, which we'll get to, but they'll meet again this weekend, the under-18s, Pete.
Mate, the under-18s, we saw 5 tries scored by Aberdeen, Ryan Brown, Jack Price, Jacob Holroyd, Flynn Wilton Howarth, Jacob McKenzie all scored tries, Bailey Mill, Freeburn.
Bailey Miller, yeah, they just stuffed up there.
He kicking 3 goals. It was 26-12 over Scone. Cameron Wendell, Braden Cook both went in for tries, and Richard Riley kicking the goals.
That was not a bad match, I've got to say, and I did tell you, Benko and Pete, I think that young Bailey Miller Freebrand, and as you pointed out, Benko, he's been in the rep system.
Yeah, Northern Tigers early in the season, is that right, Pete?
He is. He's
Aberdeen boy.
Aberdeen boy. He's got another year in under-18s next year as well, so he'll be.
Gosh.
He'll be Aberdeen with what they've got coming through from the 16s next year, and the ones backing up, they'll be a very good side next year. So.
I really like Ryan Brown too. I thought he had a cracking match. Jack Price, of course, that try sticks out in mind, but Ryan Brown is a great young player up there for the Tigers.
Yeah, he sure is. He goes really well, really good in attack.
Yeah. For Scone, look, I think it was Jalen Darcy. I think that's his name. I really like that kid. It's a bit of a man crush, but he played really well, and he's a great player, and I think he's one to watch out for in the future. The reserve grade, Benko.
Okay, in the reserve grade, Aberdeen Tigers 34 defeated the Musbrook Rams 14. Kane McDonald scored 3 tries. Dave Manane, Seth Mitchell and Taylor Pryor all went over as well. Hayden Belly kicked 5 goals for the Rams. Lukey Cameron, Jacob Button and Wade McKenzie scored tries, and Wado kicked the lone goal.
I guess I owe a little bit of a congratulations to Dave Manane after the crap I've given him all year.
I reckon you do.
No, he did. He played really well, and look, he's been named on the bench. Benko. We now have a word for the first grade outfit.
And look, much deserved too. I think Dave's a really good player. I think, and Pete and Caitlin can and back me up here. I think him and the key, then the secret to the reserve grade is Shawnee, Millwood and Dave Manane's combination. And now they've added Mitter in there, Lee Mitchell in there. It just gives them that extra weapon in attack, I reckon. The three of them work really well together.
Lee Mitchell was absolutely outstanding the other day. His organisation, he's playing busted with a bad shoulder, but his organisation and his inspirational runs into the defence and his hits, he directs them around the field. He's the X factor in Aberdeen's.
He's very mature in his game, and I've got to say that was the best game I've seen Lee Mitchell play in a number of years. He's always been a quality player, but even Ronnie Griffith, when I was around the other side, actually was asking me about who's that number 6 for Aberdeen. So, Ronnie's a quality coach and knows the talent when he sees it. He's a bit like, I won't go there. I was going to say Craig Bellamy, but he's not that standard just yet. But he knows the good players when he sees them. He knows the good players when he sees them.
I thought Choppy Mackay and Ramon Jackson played well for the Rams in a beaten side. They never stopped all day, and even Jacob Button at halfback, he's only a year out of first juniors, and I thought they did. Those 3 deserve some mention. I thought they really tried really hard.
Butto looked really good at halfback. I've seen him play hooker a lot, but he looked really good in that halfback jersey. He played really well and directed, and the way he took the line.
Awesome too.
Sorry?
Romain was awesome.
Yeah.
Like he
No Liam Dunn though. The junior league grand final.
Liam had the junior grand final for his, and same with Ben Hagan had the same predicament on Sunday for Scone. His young bloke played at Cessnock at 3 o'clock. So
let's fix that next year, eh? Benko.
It's above my pay scale, Reggie.
Touchy topic with Benko.
It's above my pay scale, mate.
The Singleton first grade. Singleton 38 defeated Denman 4. The 7 tries for Singleton came by Morgan Amity with 2, Will Newenhouse, Jordan Watson, James Bradley, Frank Paul Nuwasala, Nelson Gardner, Will Newenhouse with 5 goals, and Jacob Ellis, the lone try scorer for Denman. Denman, I'll go out and say, they've been depleted. They've been lucky to field a side. They've made it to half time in a couple of games. They bring out a full squad without much match fitness, and I really think they did well. There was a few brain snaps there, obviously, during the game, but I think it just was match fitness in the end, boys and girls.
Well, we said it last week, Reggie, that match fitness was the key to Denman's performance. I just wish that a few of the boys would have been able to play, the last couple of the games in the regular season, Pete and Caitlin, and because it just would have given them that extra little bit of, hardening up, so to speak, to, before a crucial semi-final, elimination semi-final as well. And I think they tried well, but in the end, they went 50 minutes in that game with 12 men. Adam Gretsch found himself in the bin for 10 minutes, 90 seconds into a minor semi-final.
What was that for?
I thought it was ridiculous, but anyway.
What was it for?
It was, the report from the far touch judge said he thought it was a deliberate closed fist. And that's what I got told.
I wasn't in the commentary, so I didn't get to see that.
No, well, he's reported that to Nick Martin, and Nick Martin's acted accordingly, and if that's what the touch judge thought, that's you have to abide by it. I mean, they're in charge. But my concern is, I'm not saying the boys would have won by any stretch, right? But certainly, I believe Logan Ellis's try was a try. I think it possibly could have been an 8-point try, because I no doubt in my mind he was jumped on at the end after he scored the try by Luke Gardner. I'll make no apologies. I call it as I see it, and I thought that was the case. And I've watched the video replay on the thing, and look, it wasn't just me. I think other people said exactly the same thing.
We're all in trouble over the other side of the field when I walked around there and copped an earful of abuse, as we've talked about, and about the video sighting. And look, we don't make
it. It is what it is, mate. It is what it is. It's 38 points before the final siren, but momentum. We all know momentum in a game of football can change on a 5-cent piece, and teams need that momentum. I'm not saying. Look, it might have been 38-8 for all I know, and I'm only assuming. But
I haven't seen the replay. I didn't see it at the time.
Anyway, they got flogged, and we move on.
Well, I've watched the replay, and it was a very ordinary incident from Luke Gardner. It was both late and it was into the head, like on the player that's laying on the ground, and I thought it was a pretty low at. But, Yep.
Oh, it is what it is. Like I said, I didn't get to see it. I haven't watched the replay yet. I got around to the other side afterwards, but I heard all about it. Didn't get to see it. But the Sunday games, the results, the major semis now, Caitlin, the ladies' league tag, 22-4. You go for the try scorers in that one.
Yep. So Flynn Haggerty scored 1. Samantha Elphick, I'm pretty sure, scored the opening. Nicole Schlifke and Samantha Elphick scored. Kicked 3 goals. And for the Marundi, Hannah Rando was the only try.
It was a shift. Remember the
Bomber
had her absolutely tongue-tied. He ended up calling her Nicole.
That was it for most of the game.
What'd you make of that game? You commentated it with Bomber.
Yeah, I thought Marundi would have stuck it a bit more to Scone, but they just didn't come out as firing and as aggressive as I hoped.
Yep.
Hannah Rando was definitely their standout player. Michelle Walmsley had a little bit wider.
Yeah.
Had a good crack in the second half, but
they did come out
those two on their own couldn't carry them through. But
no.
I was really surprised. It's the first time I've seen Scone how crisp and clean they are with their passing, and they do it at pace as well.
Yeah.
It's so fluent, aren't they? Like when they execute, it's so good. But Flynn Haggerty, Benko, pound for pound, she plays well above her weight, and she's fantastic.
I thought Sophie Hines' defence was outstanding. I thought her and Flynn were really good. You can see the influence of touch footy in that. Sophie Cassando. Sophie comes from a touch footy background and a very, very talented touch football player she was. And you could see the moves out wide. It was just go forward. They were all in motion at the time, and she had that side. It was in stark contrast to their last the time they played Marundi and lost 14-4. So it was that may have assisted the girls in a little bit of inspiring them to say, well, let's not happen. Let that happen again. I think that loss against Marundi in that regular season game, it was probably just the spark Sophie needed to get their minds back on the job.
They really, I thought this Marundi team really did handle Sophie well, but like I said to you guys here, Rebecca Hill was able then to inject herself, and as a player, she was fantastic in the way that she organised. And,
Look, it was said through the call how
good
they were on.
Pardon?
Who was the fullback, sorry, for Scone?
Samantha Elphick.
Yeah, she played fantastic.
Yeah, and so did Jessica Preslin, the other fullback from Marundi Girls, sorry.
Mate, I was just about to say, Marundi did do a great job on Sophie on the weekend. I think she was really shut down well, but then that let others have a bit of freedom. So.
Yeah, no, look, I think it's going to come down to they have to work on their kicking. That's in that league tag. The kick chase for Scone wasn't there. It just wasn't there on the weekend. The under 18s, Pete.
Mate, the under 18s. I'll steal yours, Benko. Thanks, mate. Look, we had Singleton 42 over Musselbrook 10. Bo Parnell, Aidan Partridge Smith, Jackson Amity, Brendan Chalker, Michael West, Blake Trees, Aidan Allgood, Tom Kayeda Mandra all crossed. Liam Harris kicked 5 goals for Singleton. William Lewis and Stevie Dangate scored the tries for Muswellbrook, with Steve Dangate kicking the goal.
They really did come out of the boulders, didn't they? They came out flat out, Singleton. Muswellbrook really didn't look too much in the game. They just looked that they had them across the field, Singleton, Benko, and they're undefeated throughout the year. Young bunch of blokes. I know Stevie Dengate plays really well, and his half partner, Newman?
Jackie Newman.
Tom
He plays
Catamandra.
above his weight level.
Tom
too.
Catamandra, another young kid I've been speaking his praises. He's a big boy off the bench.
Of course, some damage.
Brendan Chalker. Look, Benko, you can have your say on that one.
I think that side is a very, very talented team. They're very strong across the board, and they'll be very hard to beat if the Aberdeen boys or the Muswellbrook boys, whoever gets to play them, and we'll preview that game shortly. But the back row of the Singleton, Jackson Shade, Joshua Johnson and Blair Tracy were all outstanding, along with Brendan Chalker and the fullback Bo Parnell.
Yeah.
There is some serious talent in that Singleton under-18 side.
Blair Tracy, he had an outstanding game,
for sure,
defensive-wise, and he's go forward as well.
Yeah.
It's scary to think, just after we're going to preview this match, but you've said that the under-18s for Aberdeen have still got a number of years with, Bailey Miller still having another one and the young ones coming through. I think that under-18s competition is safe right across the board, and, Singleton, they're going to be hard to stop, no matter who meets them in the grand final. It's going to be a hard one.
They're a class act. That Brendan Chalker, he's on a different level from just about every other under-18 player. I think he's just fabulous to watch. Like, I really enjoy watching him play football.
I'll let you do the Merrywar side too. Your Merrywar.
Mate, yeah, Merrywar, a bit of an upset. But well done to them, through to the grand final, defeating Scone 16-10. Bradley Ellis scored, Seth Morgan, Johnny Whitby, Seth Morgan kicking 2 goals. For Scone, we had Ryan Hawkinshaw, who went in to score. He scored both tries, and one conversion by Nicholas Watson. Great game by the Merrywar team.
Bradley Ellis, boys. Bradley Ellis played a really good game, didn't he, Benko and Pete?
Outstanding. Look, I did go to get confirmation on his name.
It's Bradley.
And someone said, no, it's Brady, it's here, look, see?
Yeah.
Righto, okay, it is written in the...
I wrote it down clearly on our sheets though, it was Bradley.
Yeah, look, mistake was made. Sorry, mate. We'll get it right in the big one.
But I know that John Whitby and John Hood, I think it was, Benko.
Big Johnny Hood that started,
Yeah, they really impressed you for the reserve graders.
Oh, mate, I really underestimated them. I thought when they were defeated by Aberdeen in the last round game up there at McKinnon Field, I thought that when they were defeated 14-12, I didn't think they'd be able to kick back against the Scone boys like they did last week. I don't know if you saw the game, Caitlin, but how big are the Merrywar forwards?
Yeah,
they are monsters, those Merrywar boys.
Big boys.
And I thought the Scone boys were big, seriously. But full marks to Nathan Barry and Andrew Swales. Their performances were outstanding because that Scone side had Nick Watson, Gary McKean, Chrissy Brennan, Aidan Edwards was there as well, Joshy Noble, Ryan Hawkshaw. It was a fantastic game. It was probably the game of the day, I thought.
Ryan Hawkshaw's stats, I'd love to see him.
I was so impressed with Ryan Hawkshaw. I thought, for a kid that maybe only about 70 kilos, if that, his defence when he had to move due to an injury late in the game, I don't know, did you see it, Fitzy?
Yeah.
I thought Hawkshaw, he was hitting those bigger blokes. He was giving maybe 50 kilos away to some of them boys, and he was just knocking them down. He was in the dust. There was dust everywhere because he was just throwing himself at their feet. So I want to give Ronnie Hawkshaw and Brady Curry a big rap for their efforts in that major semi in the reserve grade. Well done, boys.
What do you think of that match?
Mate, I thought it was a tough, dour struggle. Like 2 big packs of forwards that going, and neither side virtually gave an inch. I mean, Scone's try in the second half was just a one-on-one strip to get him back in the game where he stripped the ball, and but there was very few chances, and Merrywar took theirs.
Yeah.
And Scone,
I think the bounce of the ball did go Merrywar's way a fair bit more. Scone seemed to have a little bit of the dropsies with the ball at times. which we saw when Merriwar played Aberdeen the week before, but they tidied that up, and that went a long way to helping them to win the game.
But Pete, that wind did in reserve grade start swirling. We were talking about the
Yeah, 1 minute.
wind. It's
1 minute it'd be blowing towards the scoreboard end, then it'd swap around and go the other way, then it's going across the field. Like, no one had any favouritism from the wind at all.
I don't think there's any more than 2 to 4 points in between Merriwar, Scone and Aberdeen reserve grade. That's
Totally agree.
how close the three teams are.
Totally agree,
So,
Fitzy.
that'll be a fabulous final
gonna be
this
a
week and a great grand final.
Fitzy, the first grade, you've got the results there.
First grade, Scone 30 defeated Aberdeen 16. 5 tries to Scone, Justin Apthorpe to Tim Smith, Tom Hagan and Dan Ritter. Jake Watts kicked 5 goals. And for Aberdeen, tries by Shane Hasselman, Ewan Bartholomew and Cameron French, and 2 goals to Liam Foran.
Benko, I'll let you go first.
Oh, mate, it was a really hard game. Scone, you could see the difference in Aberdeen with Hoogs back and also Wolfie back, Hamish out wide. Although Hamish just, the ball never really got out to him, Fitzy did it, and Caitlin, he was like a shag on a rock out there. I just think that they could have had an opportunity to really get him in motion out wide, get early ball to him, and have a better backline movement, because it was just such a forward 1 out, 2 out struggle. But Hamish, the only time Hamish was taking the ball up that I could remember was when he was just driving it out of his own red zone, Pete.
Yeah.
And I really think Hamish has to be used out wide a little bit better than that, because I think he was wasted on the weekend, because it turned into just a massive forward clash.
I think it was wasted. Like Aberdeen made way too many errors. Like the turnovers on the first tackle in both ends of the field. Like I think there was 6 on the first tackle. Like 3 coming out of our own end and 3 on Scone's line. Where we've turned the ball over on the first tackle.
And those things hurt big
and
time.
Scone are a very good football side, and you get punished for your mistakes, and we got punished. We probably controlled that game for the first 20 minutes and for the last 40 minutes, and we conceded 24 points in 20 minutes. Just before half time. And
fair assumption.
And that's your game. But we tidy a few things up, and we'll make it a lot closer if we get another crack. But we got a hard game this week to worry about before that.
Yeah,
So.
definitely.
What was your thoughts on that first grade match, Caitlin?
Oh yeah, hard and tough. Aberdeen just made a few silly mistakes, and like Benko said, didn't use the wings and the centres enough. Like I thought Harry Douglas, he didn't touch the ball in there much, and you see the gaps out wide, but they just.
So 26 degrees, the extra defensive work from turning over on the sets, and the energy went out of our attack, and that's the reason why the ball doesn't get out wide. And it was very hot, the boys said out there. So
Jolie Harrison, I think he had a big game in the centres. I can't give him a big enough rap. The bloke, he's as high as the next tree, and his legs, they just can't stop him. But when he hits with such force out wide. Like, you talk about the JJ Apthorpes and that are solid defenders in the centre. There's really nowhere to move on that outside fringe when it comes to his side of the field.
Look, a couple injuries that the Tigers had in the second half there. We saw Harry Douglas come off late in the game. Also, Hasselman, who was knocked out. How are they travelling along, Pete?
Hass knocked himself out. He got his head in the wrong spot when he's gone to make a tackle, and he's had a first couple of days he's had a very stiff neck, but he trained last night, and the movement's coming back and the soreness is going, so
excellent.
I think it'd have to be broken to stop Haskell playing this week. So
I'll tell you what, he plays above his weight level, doesn't he?
There is nothing.
They just can't get him, can they?
Some of his defensive efforts were unbelievable, and I'll just talk about the Aberdeen side. I thought Tyler Prince Campbell was just phenomenal in defence, and he drove it up. Marcus Marsh as usual, and I thought Hoogs, for the want of he probably needed that game. I said that in the call actually after the game, and that Hoogs probably would benefit greatly from that one really hard hit out. He's been out for he hasn't played a lot of games this season, has he?
No, look, he's only had one game in the last I think, out of the last 7. And to come out on a hot day, as I said, and he was looking for air after about 20 minutes, and as I said, he'd be better for the run.
My thoughts on Scone, Reggie, is that they've got very little weaknesses. They're just, and the thing that defines them from all the other sides, that for me, is that it's just their go forward and their play the ball is just so much quicker right now than everyone else. And it's on the back of Clydesdale, just jumps out a dummy half, and he just jumps out and he goes. And he doesn't even have to look, because there's always someone left and right of him. Yeah. Always. And congratulations to Watsy, the coach. He's got them boys knowing their roles. And whether Todd Lowry has brought some ideas, and also Adam has brought some ideas back from the NRL, the guys have to know their roles. If there's a half break, be there. Just be there and make every post a winner, go forward at all costs. And their speed out of the ruck is just ridiculously quick. And I think that is the key difference between the sides right now.
I played against him in his debut, Daniel Ritter, and I've said all this year, I don't think I've seen him play the best football that he's been playing this year. And he defines hard football. He just does. To see him come off with that knee injury, and there's been little words around during the week that there's fluid, but I saw him after the game. He goes, "Yeah, no, it'll be right." You know, Daniel Ritter style. I don't think you'll keep him off that field. And you know, to get a try, he's got to be up there in the points for Player of the Year. But he could be a difference if that knee. You know, they've got a strong forward pack. You've got the likes of Collison that can come into the side, but Daniel Ritter he's always there to take that ball, and he's always making 10 metres.
You want him on the field, don't you? As much as you can, but
extra week rest.
I think come GF, whoever they play, whether it be the Tigers or the Greyhounds, you've really got to think about laying in the play the ball ruck, slowing them right down, maybe give up a couple of penalties here and there, because in the end that's going to hurt you less than letting them get the fast play the ball and get downfield.
And chance your arm, Pete.
Yeah, exactly.
Chance your arm, chance the referee, and just, you know, I'm just wondering whether the players are hearing a dominant call or a surrender call. But anyway, just chance your arm, because if it's the only thing you can do, you've got to try and dominate the ruck.
Well, you've just led into what I was going to ask Caitlin before we get on to this weekend's games. The surrender call in the Ladies League tag. It's the first time I'd heard it on the weekend. Have you seen it?
Yeah, no, I haven't heard of it before, and that's when I asked him, like, what was that? And then after the girls, I said to Gracie Gown that plays for Miranda, I'm like, has that been there before? She's like, yeah, they've been pinged for it before. I was like, oh, okay, it's the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, it was the first I'd heard of it as well on the weekend, Benko, and we said it like a surrender tackle when someone's taken on the line and they know they're going to get penalised for contact or vice versa, and they stop. It's a hard one.
I think it's a stupid rule.
Yeah,
I'm going to call it as it is. I mean, I don't see the purpose of it. What is the purpose of calling a girl in the Ladies League tag a surrender? And I'll put it to you this way: when in the male section, the men's, when they're playing, if the referee calls a surrender, it's not a penalty.
No, you've got extra time.
But you've got extra time for the tackle player. But where's the girl going to go? She got the ball, Caitlin, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 5 metres out from her own line, Fitzy, and there was a wall coming at her. Well, what is she going to do?
You can't palm either.
Well, she's not going to get her through. Yeah. So she stood still. Girl took the tag off, and the penalty was given for surrendering in a Ladies League tag. You've got to be joking.
I think it's a bit hard.
Whoever invented the rule.
It's not Liam Anderson's fault either.
No, he did it
as a referee. And Liam Anderson I rate highly as a referee. It's the poor bugger has to referee by the rules, because Angus Wally's in the stand saying, well, why didn't you blow a penalty? And poor old Liam will find himself as a touch judge, because Angus will put a black cross against his name. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous rule. But I say, if it happens again, and I know the referees like yelling it out, discretion.
Look, I'll agree with you. It's one of them rules. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you run into them, you've bumped them over, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
Like, what does she do when she gets to that? Yeah, I don't like the rule. I don't. It's got to be re-looked at next year. It really does, because it's not a contact sport. It's not the CRL 9s. And, you know, to have a surrender, if she'd made a break and stopped, different story. But running into a wall of defence...
Before we get on to next week's games, or this week's games, the refereeing on Sunday at Scone I thought was unbelievable. You hardly saw or heard the referees really. They seemed to only really blow a penalty when it was 100% deserved. I mean, we saw players throughout all of the games that weren't always quite back to 10, but they were letting that go and trying to let the play flow as much as they could. So well done to the guys in green.
I thought the standout for me was Nick Martin in reserve grade. That game between Merrill and Scone was a highlight for me. One of the highlights of the year, actually, in that major semi in reserve grade. I thought it was a cracker of a game.
Well, let's hope that this weekend is just as good and we don't actually have to leave to get around talking about the referee. So the league tag, it kicks off at 10:30 at McKinnon Oval. Of course, you're going to have to be there early to get a great seat. Murrundi take on Merriwar. It's going to be a cracking match. Now, boys, I tipped Murrundi last week, and I think I've said that they've been one to match Scone, but I've always had a soft spot for Merriwar, and I think those girls, with their unorthodox style of football at times, they can do this one.
Look, from what I've seen of Murrundi, both teams will play a different type of football. Merriwar are more physical.
Yep.
Murrundi seem to like to use the ball a bit more. It's going to be very interesting, but the Maggies for me.
Caitlin?
Yeah, no, I'm going Murrundi for this one. Like you said, Merriwar are very physical, but I reckon Murrundi will be able to hold them in, and if the girls get settled and composed and they move forward and they don't stress and they just relax, I reckon they'll get over them.
Has Murrundi got them for speed, do you feel?
Yeah, I reckon
Yeah.
they do. Like they got Jess
I would say
Presland.
so.
Yep, and if I'm not sure, I don't know if Lucy Gruden's back. She didn't play on the weekend.
She's named.
She's named. Yeah. Well, if she's there, like she's always good there to have. But yeah, I reckon.
Benko?
Oh, look, I'm going to tip the Mavs. I think they probably needed that loss, and it's a terrible saying in all sport. They need that loss, but I think they probably went out there thinking that they'll knock Scone over, and you could say the same thing for Scone. They need that loss, but I don't think the Murrundi girls are going to let a grand final spot slip by this time. You know, by a defeat against Merriwar. Merriwar will put it up to them, there's no question. And they like the harder stuff in there. They will get amongst it. I just think the Murrundi girls, Hannah Rando is an outstanding player.
She was,
Her speed off the mark, Caitlin, is just phenomenal.
Is she better than
She's
her
quick.
partner?
She's way quicker than Ryan Ullman, mate.
No, I'm saying, is she better than him?
She'd flog him.
Pete?
Oh, look, I can't see much either way in the game. Murrundi probably do have a bit more in speed wise, and I'll go Murrundi in a close one. Like,
So it's only you and I going from there. We
That's
go.
all right, mate.
That's
That's
all
all
right.
right.
We can handle that. 40% go for Merriwar. The underdogs, the under 18s. Aberdeen take on Muswellbrook in this cracking match. Caitlin,
Aberdeen all the way.
what's going to be the difference? I know you can't. You weren't going to say Muswellbrook, but what's the difference?
I reckon our forwards. If Jack has another good game like he did on the weekend, and Mitchie Cumberford, yeah, they'll.
Isn't that funny? Because I called out the Muswellbrook forwards and said they need to do a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
If I told you boys this, the heart says Muswellbrook for me, and that's what I said. You know, the Aberdeen side's really good. But I'm really calling out the Muswellbrook forward pack. If Muswellbrook got any chance of beating Aberdeen, their forward pack's got to do more because, you know, the back line's there for Muswellbrook, the back line's there for Aberdeen, but the Muswellbrook forward pack on the weekend, I think they were missing compared to the opposition.
Look, Stevie Dengate, I thought, had a pretty quiet game for Muswellbrook last week. He went off with an injured back.
He scored a great intercept try.
He did.
It was
a good
160 metres.
Yeah, it's about 75. Don't let truth get in the way of a good story. But he went off with a bad back. They also said to me that he's been struggling with that for the last few weeks. So it'll be interesting to see how he pulls up. But I think for Muswellbrook to beat Aberdeen at home, he will have to be heavily involved.
Me, Reg. I thought,
Next.
mate, Muswellbrook, they weren't far behind Singleton in the point score at the end of the thing, at the end of the regular season. They did put a gap on the other sides behind them, but I just think the Rams will get there. Even though there's a home ground advantage to the Tigers, I think the clash between Bailey Miller and Stevie Dengate will be very, very good because they played a little bit of Northern Tigers together throughout the early parts of the season. I got to admit, I haven't seen all the Aberdeen juniors play, so look, I'm looking forward to watching a really good, hard game of football.
What's your tip?
I'm going to go for the Rams, mate.
I know you're going to say Aberdeen, but you need to sell it to us.
I will go Aberdeen. We have Hunter Dever back into the team this week. The first time all season that we will field a full bench. I thought the last 2 times we played Muswellbrook, we were in control of that game. We led one game 24-6 and ended up down to 11 players and got beat 32-24.
And then the other one was a draw, wasn't it?
And the other one was a draw.
Yep.
There's
not much in it.
There's not much in it. I think with Hunter there and with a full bench, and I think Aberdeen will take a power beating.
Reserve grade game, 1 p.m. Now, we did speak about it and we've seen the sides, but on the program we did say Hayden Topless and Jake Watson in the halves for reserve grade. I'll put it to you, I shit myself. I thought, for God's sake, if they're playing and Tom Hagen's playing reserve grade, Aberdeen's in for a hard day. But look, I think the Aberdeen side, it's going to be a hard physical match, but I think at home against Scone, the Scone outfit is one that I've said is first grade material. Could have played first grade throughout the year. I just think Aberdeen, Shorty Millward, Lee Mitchell, as I spoke of early, I've got big raps on him at the moment. But again, it's going to be a forward pack. It has to be a forward pack that really, and discipline. If I've got one critical thing with Aberdeen seniors in the blokes, it's their discipline.
Yeah, you're probably
That'll
right.
let them down every time.
Sorry?
That'll let them down every time.
You're obviously going Aberdeen, but
Yeah,
what's the,
sure.
Oh, okay. where do they win?
Oh,
If you say the scoreboard, I'm going to clock you.
scoreboard. Nah. Oh, I don't know. Just.
They're
Taylor Pry, he goes well.
Yeah.
Hayden Bell, I reckon out wide with the boys, and then the big boys in the middle.
Yep.
Sounds fair. But I think Scone will definitely have a drill into them about hanging onto the ball a lot more this week.
Yeah.
If they control the ball, it's going to be a hard one against Aberdeen, who will have great support there on Saturday because, look, we've got them playing in 3 of the 4 games. It's going to be absolutely packed at McKinnon, but Scone in a really tight tussle.
Reggie, it's hard to say who's going to win this game because we're getting mixed reports about who's going to play for Scone. If Topless plays and Jake Watts play and Tommy Hagen play, I don't know the purpose for that. I don't know the reason because
It could be an error.
well, I hope it's an error in the print, mate, because if they're going to back up and play third, why would you risk injury? It's not as if they need, and I'm only going to say this based on what I've seen. Why would you risk injury and with a grand final in first grade the week after? I just don't understand that. However, if it's a misprint that we've seen, or a G-up or a stitch-up, I'm going to go for an Aberdeen victory in reserve grade because that forward pack is just getting better every time I see it. Taylor Pryor, Corey Gilmore, Jimmy Diggins and Liam Wilton have been outstanding. Gordon Akuma's been outstanding. Hayden Bell out wide just gives that little bit of speed. Dave Manane and like you said, Louis Mitchell, it's a very solid unit. They will not have it all their own way, but this is going to be a hell of a good game.
Yeah. Oh, look, I do think it's going to come down to discipline, and again, I called out the Muswellbrook forward pack. I think Scone's forward pack's got to go another 15%.
Well, I'm going for Aberdeen. I just think our forwards are very, very strong. This week we have the return of Matty Jones, hooker, and he's like a ex-Macquarie first grade player, and he's only played 4 or 5 games this year, and he puts an extra dimension on them.
So Corey Gilmore, what happens to him?
Corey
off the bench.
Off the bench.
Yep. Okay.
Then Ethan Christensen is also back into the team, so that adds a lot of speed and pace out wide. And with the organisation of the halves, Millwood and Midder, well, I just think we've got a bit too much for.
I did see someone else named on the bench. Oh, that was for the first grade side. Sorry, yeah, which we'll get to the next game. But yeah, I have to agree with you. That leads us into first grade, 2:30, Aberdeen versus Singleton.
Did you give a tip in reserve grade?
Yeah, I did. I said Aberdeen, but they need to go another 15.
So what are we all?
All bar me.
3 against 1. 3-1, right?
What do you mean?
Oh, sorry, 4-1.
4-1.
My
4-1,
apologies.
Who's going?
Pete,
Just remember, I think I was the only one who tipped Mary Warren reserves last week.
done well.
Well, on form.
No,
Sorry, Fitzy.
I thought Maryborough would win last week. I just think maybe that Maryborough and Aberdeen just might have just a little bit more.
Oh, geez, that'd be a cracking grand final.
Well, Aberdeen beat Merriwar the week before.
Yeah.
So back to what Pete said a while ago, there's nothing between those, top 4 sides in reserve grade.
Exactly.
It's been an outstanding competition.
Yeah. Now, the 2:30 first grade game, Aberdeen versus Singleton. I'll start with Pete. Now, Pete, I'm just going to ask you, on the bench, now, correct me if I'm wrong, I've seen Ethan Christensen named.
Yep.
I've seen Dave Manane named. I've seen Sean Millwood named, and Travis Bateman, and there was another one. Graham McRae. Wow, that's a strong bench. I mean, Jason Hovey's there as well.
Hovey, yep.
It was good for a couple of penalties last weekend, but at crucial times. But Dave Manane, Ethan Christensen, and Shawnee Millwood can change a game on a coin.
Yeah, but they're playing a reserve grade game too, Reggie.
Yeah.
Just remember that.
They've done it all year.
They're not going to be fresh reserves.
No.
Not all of them, anyway.
Well, Pete?
Yeah, look, I'll go Aberdeen. They will need to improve their discipline and their ball control from last week. It was a very hot day, and it'll be a good hit out, and it's probably better coming off a hard hit out. We hadn't had much preparation before last week. We'd had a freezing cold game that meant nothing, that we went to Singleton and got beaten 40-0, and then we'd had a game against Denman that got called off at half time. So that was our preparation going into a semi-final.
Sure.
But sell it to me. If you're going to sell it to me, you're telling people to come to the ground. What's the difference between that 40-0 scoreline at Singleton? It was a cold day, no excuse, but Singleton did have a muscled-up forward pack and were well executed. What's the difference?
Well, we had no Marcus Marsh, no Travis Bateman, no Daniel Hugerworth, no Hamish Wolfgang, and no Cameron French that day. And we had a bad attitude and Singleton got off to a good start, and the boys just showed that they didn't want to be there.
They shut up shop, didn't they?
It's a big question.
I didn't want to be there. It was the coldest day.
It was absolutely horrible.
I had to get out of the car twice to go to the toilet. They were very quick dashes around, I can tell you.
Well, this bloke on my left just stayed upstairs under shelter and all. I was the mug who got to stand out in the rain.
I had Ugg boots on, 2 pairs of pants, 3 jumpers.
But I think you'll find that the boys will be switched on a lot better this week, and playing at home in front of a good crowd, and sudden death football. I think you'll see Aberdeen turn up in numbers this week.
Okay.
Look, home ground advantage is a big thing this weekend, and I echo Pete's thoughts about that 40-0 drubbing. All those players are back. I think Daniel Hugerworth will benefit greatly from having that one run under his belt. Even Hamish, he's been out for a lot of games. I think he'll benefit, even though he probably wasn't utilised as well as I believe he should have. I think Foz will benefit a little bit as well. That was a bit of a tough game on the weekend for Foz. They read him pretty well. They were right up in his face a hell of a lot, the Saskatchewan defence. I think he might have a little bit more freedom, and I just think they'll get Singleton. I still think that they will win. They'll definitely beat Singleton on the weekend. They've just got to be mindful of the brilliance of the Will Neuenhouses and also Tommy Johnson and James Bradley. Those 3 young kids can turn a game with their speed around the ruck.
Not to mention Cody Argent.
Well, yeah, exactly, mate. But if they can tidy up their ruck defence, and I think they will. I just think I think Aberdeen are good things on the weekend.
Look, I've had a chat with Hoogs today and also with Jai Bailey about this game on the weekend. Both are fairly confident.
Name dropper.
Both are fairly confident. I asked Hughes how he felt after last weekend because it was a physical game of footy. He said he's still feeling a bit sore, but each day he's feeling a lot better and he's looking to rip in come this weekend. I think the Tigers are probably just going to have the advantage due to the fact they're at home.
What was Jai's take?
I reckons they can take him.
Yeah, but what was his...
Look,
they got a full squad?
Yeah, they've got a full squad. They've got no injuries from last week or anything, so they're happy with what they're putting on. Probably the strongest team they've had all year, he reckons. I asked him about the 40-0 drubbing down there at Pertec.
Yep.
He said, look, we're reading nothing into that. It was a shocking day of football. They had a lot of players missing, which you've just said about Fitz.
Yep.
So he's quietly confident, but I think if Aberdeen can keep their heads and not give away silly penalties, we saw Jason Hovey throw a couple away last week. If you can keep him under control and a couple of the others, and the niggle stays out of it, and they play footy, they're going to be very hard to topple.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Have Aberdeen played wet football this year in first grade?
Has anyone?
Yes,
There's been several
against
games.
Sydney.
They did.
It rained that day.
Yeah, rained that day. You rate at Pertec?
You wouldn't say it was rained all day, but we had showers coming across about every 4 minutes at 100 mile an hour, sweeping.
Going through the biggest dry in 100 years, Reggie, and you've asked poor old Caitlin if Aberdeen played in the rain, mate. There's 10-year-old kids around who've never seen rain. You tell them. Fair dinkum.
There's wet games that have been played this year, and I'm just trying to think if Singleton's played in one of those downpours, because we have got rain forecast for this weekend.
I've heard kids run around the street when we've had a little shower asking their parents what the hell that is. So, I mean, I don't know if it matters, to be quite honest.
You don't think it matters?
No.
Look, I have checked the weather out for the weekend. The showers, or the rain that they have been predicting, that was up to about 20 mil for Friday, and then maybe another 10 or 15 for Saturday, is now down to about 1 or 2 mil for Saturday, and we're back to about 10 mil for Friday. So
It's just ridiculous.
it's not going to be that wet. Anything that does fall is going to just
No worse than the sprinklers on, Reggie.
Mate, the Oval will need it after playing on that dirt patch at Scone last weekend, and the dust was disgraceful. Like, the players nearly needed wrap-around safety glasses on for eye protection. I know there's water restrictions and a drought and that, but that field was...
They did pump the water into it. It was wet. It was wet when we got up there. When we got up there for the morning, it was wet.
But how many Junior League games were on there up there that day?
Yeah.
Junior League was played on there on the Saturday, I believe.
Saturday, yeah.
So it wouldn't have helped at all. But, I mean, it's dry everywhere. It's not stopping players from catching a ball and running. So forget about the dry, forget about the wet. It is what it is. We have to get through it.
Lachlan Ballard refereeing the Ladies League tag as well. The referee for reserve grade under 18s was...
Yeah, great. Throw me under a bus. I haven't brought it up on my phone to have
Corey Martin, wasn't it?
Corey Martin.
Corey Martin, and then it was Nick Martin and Jesse Rudders.
That's it.
Very good. Thank you.
You've got the memory.
Reggie, have you given a tip for a first grade?
Oh,
No, he hasn't. That's why he's straight to the
There's no
reps.
such thing as splinters in your ass. You are
We did
making
this
you are going to make a selection.
Righto.
You've had
He
20
thought he'd
hours
get
to
away
think
with it.
about it.
He thought he'd get away with it, Pete.
Oh,
Here we go.
nah, I think if, depending on the bench selection, Aberdeen could win this, but I'd be going with, you say fresh reserves, but I reckon Dave Manane and Shorty Mill would need to get out there. That's my personal choice.
Will it be interesting who has? I think they've got to have if they back
They
up
don't.
well.
Singleton.
If they back up well, I think they've got to have Dave and Shawnee Millwood on the bench at least with a couple of other big boppers. I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy Diggins is on there. Liam Wilton's up to first grade standard.
Oh,
There's
Liam
no
Wilton
question.
played the best game I've seen him play last weekend.
But anyway, it's a wealth of talent for the Aberdeen side have got the squad.
Singleton still worries me, like you said, and it's the Will Newenhouse, it's the Morgan Emity that are playing really good off those scoots. You know, if Frank Paul's seen him in there in the dressing sheds at half time drawing on his thigh with young Will Newenhouse and Rinken about how you got the Rinken, Dale Watson, and it's going to be a cracking match, but it's going to come down to the bench selection. Aberdeen, if they select right, otherwise Singleton, I'll say that right now.
Oh, you're a joke.
No, that's bullshit. I'm
Just
going to say...
I mean, what?
Jason Hovey, I'm going to say it right now, he's good for 4 penalties.
Well, everyone else is... Who are you taking?
I'm saying Aberdeen.
Right, that's all I want to know. Stop.
Okay, righto.
Now, Fitzy, Hovey, how old is he? He only looks a young fella.
He's only a young bloke, mate. I think he's only...
Yeah, 23.
Yeah, 22, 23.
He's the same age as Stubbs.
Yeah. But discipline's going to be the big thing, Pete.
Mate, he's been pulled aside, and if there's a repeat this week, he'll be off the field pretty quickly and getting a dressing down like they've told him at training. You know, that he can't afford that. He firstly marched him downfield for a try the other day with 3 silly penalties and
Backs up what I said.
But then on the back of that, he also does some great runs and and great
Oh,
defence.
look, he's got the talent.
He's got a lot of talent.
He plays hard, but he's just got to keep this under control.
Got to keep the head.
Yeah.
He's a hard footballer, mate. He
is.
runs so well.
Definitely.
His post-contact meters are fantastic. And
100%.
When he sticks to football,
I'll
that's
put it to you, when he's on,
Yep.
he's a more damaging runner in the game. In Group 21.
I'd go and say...
I don't reckon... maybe one or two.
In the couple.
He'd be in the top 2 or 3 most damaging runners if he's on his game on the day, because he can just bust a tackle and he can unload as well.
I'd say he'd be up there with Radford, to be
No
honest.
question. It'd be out of him and Michael
Could
Radford
be.
for mine. But you know, I reckon it'd be a very good game.
I think you called it rocks or diamonds.
Yeah.
1 minute you got diamonds from him.
Yeah.
Next, a little bit of the rough
Thanks
stuff.
for that little debate there, Benko. That was really good.
That's what we're here for.
I'm going to put this out to you. Front rowers of the year. Who do you think, boys? Honestly, this next Wednesday is the presentation night. We've got the Tui's Bengalla Group 21 Player of the Year. You've gone Clydesdale, Old Man Crush on 4 and over here.
Lady Ambazir.
You guys, who do you
Player of the
first
year,
grade?
my player of the year, without doubt, would be Michael Radford. He has been phenomenal. Like the damage he has done against us every game this year with his running, and he's that quick off the line in defence. Like I watched him play last year, and I thought this bloke's only so, but he's opened my eyes this year. What a fantastic year he's had, and I know he's gone overseas and he's not there now, but I think he might have done enough before he went to know this
Are
award.
they going to have the big screen Skype up for when Michael, if Michael wins his
But I still don't have a run sheet.
his Group 21, is
Won't
Group
get it till
21 going
tonight.
to have a Skype going
Won't let
for
you have it.
Radford overseas?
And another
Around
smoky
the lock
from
and key.
Scone would be Isaac Austin.
Yeah,
Oh.
I reckon those two. There's no question. I mean, you nearly throw the whole Scone first grade side in there, but Marcus Marsh is definitely going to be up there, and Isaac and Radford. It'll be close between them 3.
Who's your front rowers, do you think, for first grade?
His name more.
Well, who would be your league tag player of the year? Oh, that's the one that we haven't really spoken about. Across the board, who would be? You've played against them all?
Oh, I reckon Henaranda would be up there.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And then, we'll see, you got to like the Sophie Casson and
Caitlin Albury that'd be up
number
there.
1.
Kelsey French would have been there if she'd
I know,
stayed the whole season,
yeah.
but
Next year.
now, boys, I'm going to ask you this one. Hooker of the year, of course, we have to say Adam Clydesdale's got it wrapped up. Fullback of the year,
Hayden Topless.
Hayden
Yeah.
Topless.
Can't go past that.
Rookie of the year.
Certainly.
Pete, have you seen anything on the rookie of the year?
Look, it's very hard to get a line on who's been playing for other teams when I know we've played them 5 times each, and
Have you got eligibilities in your club?
we've got bugger all eligible. Like really, we had. It's the first full season out of under 18s. Dylan Porter this is his first full season, so he's our really only candidate that we have this year. I don't know what the other teams have got. Like who's the young blokes that have come through?
Well, we've been asking that question
Great
ourselves.
question.
And first full season, Singleton's got to have some. You've got to be looking at Morgan Emity's first full year
Is
out,
it?
No, it's not.
isn't it?
No.
Okay. What about Cody Argent?
I don't know how old Cody is, but it's certainly not Morgan Emmett's first year out of juniors.
He played juniors last year, didn't he?
No.
No? Okay, righto.
I think his last year was in 2017.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know. I wouldn't have a clue, mate. I would not have a clue.
Yeah,
I was even thinking of Denman because there's a couple of boys out there that have had fair seasons. But if there's only a field of maybe one or two, I don't know how old Andrew Charters is. And you like young Andrew Charters has had a half a dozen games this year in first grade, and
he goes well.
He's got a heart the size of a lion, and I'm just thinking of boys like that, you know, that have filled in for the Denman players, you know, and all of them deserve mention. But I say that because I don't know the other sides. If Dylan Porter if this is his first year out of first grade, I think Dylan Porter will probably get it. Out of 18s, I should say.
Rightio, well, I'll go with that, and I totally agree with you. I think Henry Ando's got to be up there with the ladies' league tag, boys, but we won't know until next Wednesday night, and of course we'll be live Thursday night again next week, very live, with the results from Wednesday night. Pete, you're hosting the night.
I am hosting the night. They asked me on Saturday if I'd be willing to do so.
Did you?
As soon as they said it's a paid gig, I said I'm there.
That's a paid gig. Benko.
Do you need an offside of me?
Benko.
What's that?
Did you get anything for commentating on here?
Jack shit.
Hey, I'll look after you.
I know you do.
I get you a can of Coke Zero every now and then, no
Well,
sugar.
I appreciate it, but I do want to say one thing before we finally wrap it up. Aberdeen, I've had a rissole sandwich from Aberdeen, but the rissole sandwich from Scone and Singleton on the weekend, Caitlin and Pete were sensational. So
he's throwing down the
The
challenge.
ladies have got to
I
step
know
up.
the ladies in the Aberdeen
Wow.
canteen have always done exceptionally well, but
Hey, I'm the cook, mate. You know,
You're up shitter's ditch now.
those rissole sandwiches are
Sit
unreal.
those to the side, we know who they're for.
No,
Remember what you
Well
made
done,
over on
mate.
Remember what you made over on Thursday, Arvo? That's
done.
what you're getting on your rissole sandwich.
well done, Pete.
No. Well, he's throwing out the challenge now, Pete. The rissole sandwiches.
I'll cook him the
But it has
nicest
been
rissole
great.
sandwich he's ever had
You've
this
done
week.
well.
And I just want to say thank you to
I've had a
everyone.
bad meal this year.
Everyone that's every club that we've been to this year has been very accommodating. It's been fantastic to all the volunteers. Caitlin, yourself, you're going to be. We spoke about it. Yourself, Sophie, involved with the ladies' league tag commentary this weekend, right through to Maddie Edwards is out this weekend. I think who did we have doing the 18s? I think it was
Bomber.
Bomber.
Bomber did the 18s.
No,
last
this weekend coming, he's out.
I
So
don't know.
I think it's
I haven't got a clue.
Maddie Edwards is out this weekend. Pete's on the sideline again, and
Yeah, I'll be there for reserve grade and first grade this week.
Just better bring an umbrella, Pete.
Looking forward to it.
bring a tub, mate, or a rubber dinghy. It's going to be fun at Aberdeen.
Well, I'm looking forward to calling the reserve grade and A grade, but if you're stuck, Reggie, we'll do it a third one.
Well, I've just sat here and gone, oh crap, I think we're stuck with the 18s.
If anyone can break the drought, it'll be Aberdeen. We had our season launch at the Sedgeno Inn at the start of the year. We had 110 mils of rain that day. We had the Scanlon Circle cancelled because of the rain,
Weather.
and that we had 90 mils overnight that night.
Bring your snorkel, Pete.
I'll be there. Flippers and all are coming along.
So, Pete, I'll give you away from the warmth of the.
Yeah, you can sit
Stand
up there
back
at the
at the barbie.
dry. It'll be right.
But no, really thank you to everyone from Marcus, Josh Day, all the way through Bomber. I'm not going to keep naming names because I will forget someone.
So we've
Jackson.
got a big crowd next week for our final show for the year, Reggie.
We're getting rid of the couch, mate.
Good.
The couch is gone for this next one. There's going to be 8 guests on the us
8
three
guests?
us 3 and 5 guests for the grand final.
We've got a
show.
widescreen, have we?
Sorry.
We're going to have a widescreen.
Widescreen, yeah. No,
We're going to have to knock out a wall.
We're going to be sitting on each other's laps. No, but it's going to be a fantastic show next week, so be sure to tune in. And again, thank you, Caitlin, for coming along and your
Thanks for
insight.
having me.
And we'll see you Saturday at Aberdeen. And Pete,
Make
good luck.
it
I hope,
Saturday.
I hope the crowd is just on fire up there on the weekend. I just want a big crowd at the ground.
Yeah, look, I thought the crowds were a little bit down last week, whether that's a reflection of a 14 competition or it was too warm and people have gone to the coast for fishing or something.
Junior
I don't
League
know.
Grand Final, I think.
Junior League Grand Finals might have thrown things off a bit too on both days. But
Benko,
Yep.
Mate, I think you're in for a cracking reserve grade and first grade.
Yeah,
if we
looking
have the
forward to it,
18s,
mate.
but,
Looking forward, and good luck to all teams.
Good luck to all teams, and until next week, we'll see you on Saturday.